everybody. Um, welcome to welcome to day. I think it should be day 5. Yes, welcome to day 5 of our class. Okay, before we continue, let's just pray. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma, we can.
Okay, so before we continue, please let us pray. In Jesus' name, in the mighty name of Jesus, Heavenly Father, we commit this class to your able hand. We ask that you take total control of it in the mighty name of Jesus. We ask for divine knowledge. We ask for divine understanding. Let this class be easy for us to understand in the mighty name of Jesus. We also commit the tutor into your able hand. Whatsoever thing she needs to teach the student, oh God, give her the utterance and the words to say in the mighty name of Jesus. Go before us and clear out every obstacle that will cause this class to come to an end suddenly in the mighty name of Jesus. In Jesus' mighty name, we've prayed.
Amen.
Yeah, so um I I checked your tasks. Yes, I noticed that you guys did it and it was where is it Seth? It was great. 12 over 12. So at least it shows that you guys understand those formulas that I gave you. I would have said do you have any question, but with what I'm seeing in this result, I don't think you have any question, or do you?
No, ma.
Okay, that's good. At least so you all have been able to understand how the index and match with the VLOOKUP works. At least if you can understand that VLOOKUP and index and match, I think I am certified because you are going to need it. You are really going to need it. The VLOOKUP, the index and match. So for the fact that you are able to understand it, then I think I'm actually satisfied. Okay, so now let's move into what we have today. Okay. So today we will actually be learning one of the most important skills also for like the most important Excel skill also that every data analyst should know. Don't mind me, I'm always saying the most important every single time. I'm always saying the most important. That's because every single skill every single skill in Excel for data analyst I mean is very very important. So just don't mind me when I'm always saying the most important. I think the last time I said it, the most important skill, but every single thing is always important. Yeah. So today we are going to be learning um functions. We're going to be learning functions that is being used by companies, that is being used by banks, is being used by startup companies, is being used by HR department, is being used by sales team, is being used by um which other department can we all the companies you need to just call their names exactly is being used by them. So if you before any analyst before any data analyst build that their dashboard before they can even build a report or create a report, they must first understand how to summarize, organize and analyze data properly. So in today's class is all about understanding data quickly, all about understanding data quickly. So imagine a company gives you over 10,000 rows of sales data. You cannot manually calculate the total, or you cannot manually calculate the set. What I'm going to teach you today is actually still relating to what we've done before, actually, which is the sum if, the average if, the count if, is actually relating to it. But before we enter into I would have done this since, but I skipped it somehow. Then I feel like okay, let me just go back to it. So before even going into anything like if, sum if, count if, before even going to those extent, this one I'm about to teach you today is the first thing everyone should know. Even data analysts that are professional, which is the professionals and the professional data analyst, they are still using these functions till today. No matter what they do, they still use it. So you cannot manually calculate the total, you cannot manually search for insight of in a 10,000 rows. So that is why these Excel formulas and tools are important. So like I said earlier, like I said in our last class, or maybe in all our classes, I've always been saying it, that before analyzing any data set, you must first understand the meaning of any column in a data set that you're working on. So we're still using the data set that we've been working on. That's what we're still using, which is this. So I've always said that before analyzing any data set, understand the meaning of each column. Understand the meaning of each column. If you don't understand the data, then definitely your analysis at the end is going to be very, very wrong. So I'm going to be talking about the introduction to basic formulas. That was why I said this should have been the first thing I would have given you guys before going into this if and the sum if, but I skipped it somehow. But I felt like, okay, let us go back to it. So basic formulas are that they are the foundation of Excel. Yeah, so they are the foundation of Excel, that even advanced analysts still use these formulas every day. There's no how you can even do without it. They still use it every day. Most of this dashboard that you're seeing everywhere, most of these reports that you're seeing everywhere, they are built using these formulas. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is sum. I think I already explained sum to people before. I think we've even done something related to sum. So sum simply adds up numbers together. It adds up numbers together. So businesses use the sum formula to calculate the total sales, to calculate the total expenses, to calculate the total profit, to calculate total salaries. So I think in this our total sales here, we used sum. Oh, we never used sum here, did we? Okay, we did not use sum. Sorry, we did not use sum here. We just calculated this one. The first, we have two methods of calculating things, actually, of adding up things. Actually, we have two methods, which is the first one is this one that I said, like you can just multiply it like this. Yes, we have another one. Now let's say we want to come in, enter. So let's say we want to, okay, so we want to see the total sales, like all the sales that is here, that is in this total sales. Like we want to add everything up together. Let's know, I don't know, wait, let me check the dates. I think this is the year 2024. I think this is a year coming. Okay, this is a year report, because I can see that we have 12, we have 10, so this is a year report. So this sales data set is for a year, which is the year 2024. So they want to know how much they made in the year 2024, which is you getting the total sales, adding up all the total sales. Please, are you following me? I didn't even ask. Are you guys following me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. We are together.
Okay, so this data set with the date that I'm seeing, this data set is a year data set, meaning from January to December. That is what this data set is all about. So they want to find out, maybe in the year 2025, they were like, okay, can we know how much we made? Even in all the branches, we want to know how much did we make in the year 2024. Calculate everything together, including, we know, we have different branches. No, we just want to calculate everything together. Whether it is Abuja, whether it is Lagos, just calculate everything together. We want to know how much, as a company, how much did we make in a year 2024. So we're going to use the sum formula, which is equals to, should have this way, equals to, now this is sum. It said adds all the number in a range of cell. So you sum, the first one is number one. Number one can be what? Your K2. You put it here as K2. If you put comma, they will tell you number two. You will not press second one. But this one is like a long process. Actually, this is like a long process. The best one I always do, like I always say, is highlighting it. Cancel this, cancel. So I will just highlight it like this. So it will highlight everything in this particular column. Let me go down, let me scroll it down so you can see it highlighted everything. You can see everything in that column. That's what I highlighted. So that's will make it easy that, oh, I want you to calculate, give me the sum of this. Then I click on, I close my bracket, then I press enter. Wow, 1 billion, 1.2 billion. So they made over 1 billion dollar, not even naira, dollar. So do you understand? So the sum function, this help the management to know how much, to know the total revenue that was generated, the total money that came in into the company account. It is through this function. So if they just call you and say, can you please get us the total sales that was made in the year 2024, you don't have to start calculating it with your calculator small, the first one. No, you don't have to do that. With Excel function, which is sum, you can easily get, hey god, with Excel with Excel function, which is the sum, you can easily get the answer. So the second one we're going to talk about is average. Yeah, so it's average. I know that this sum is looking very easy for you because we've done sum if already and we know what it means to add up number. So the same thing with average also. So average calculates the middle value. So companies use average formula to measure performance. Oh, let's know, if you can get the middle value, then you will know that, oh, I think these people did well, oh, did they do well or did they not do well. If you can get the middle value, yes. So that's what average is all about. So what Excel does with the average formula is that it adds up, just listen to me, Excel adds up all this, like all this sales value. It will add it up, then it will now divide it by the total number of the record. I think we have let me highlight this, control A. Okay, so we have over 600. Let me just put 600 because our first header is 601. So we have over 600 records here. So Excel adds up all this. No, we've added up our total sales like this. And this is the answer. So this answer is, it will divide it by the total number of records. Let's try to. So this is equals to 1286258 036. Then it will it will divide it. Divide. We have over 600. Yes, 600. So then press enter. So this is what they're telling us. They're telling us that our average is, right. Now let us try to use the average formula, whether it is correct. So actually, this method that I tried just now, I have never tried it before. Trust me, I have not, because as long as there is formula, why do I need to be going through this process? Yes, why do I need to be going through this? So I've never tried it before. I'm just trying it now. So let's see if it is correct using our formula. And our formula is equals to average. Double click on your on your average. Then let's highlight it whether we are correct. I've highlighted our total sales because, like I explained, I said the average calculates the middle value. They want to know what is the middle, the average sales. They want to know the average sales. So for them to get the average sales, it is through the middle value, through the middle amount they will get it. So let's close this and press enter. It's correct. Like, yeah, we're correct. Okay, so we are correct actually. If you look at, so let me add my dollar to this. Let me add my dollar. Yeah, so this is it. Let me reduce the decimal. So it is, we are actually correct. We are correct. So try it. So wait, before you even try, let me ask, which method do you like? Is it the first one I did or this second one?
The second one.
Definitely. People don't want to. Mary, what about you? Which one do you like? The first one or the second one? Don't follow what Mr. Michael is saying. No, don't follow him. Just say your mind. Which one did you prefer? Is Mary on this call? I can't hear her.
Something, I think she's busy or something. I don't know.
Okay, okay, no problem. No problem. So let's continue. So the first method that I mentioned, like the first one that I showed you, is it just explains how the average works, like what Excel calculates behind the scene. Yes. So what Excel calculates behind the scene is that it adds up all the total sales and divide it by the total records of what you have, so that they can be able to get their average. So, but instead of going through all those process of saying, let me go through my total sales first, no, you can just click on equals to average, then get your answer. Yeah, so that's for average. Then the next one is, so with this now, the company already know that, company already, it helps the company to understand that this is the normal performance, like the average performance, meaning they want to believe, let me just put that, they want to believe that with what they are seeing right now, they can never make any sales that is less than 2 million for a year. Do you understand? For a year, they can never. That's what this average just looks like. So it helps the company understand the normal performance. So the next one is count. Yes, so just like the name implies, count. I was about to say something. Yes, count. Count. I don't use that word. It's not as if I'm repeating myself. Count. Okay, so count means counting cells containing numbers. Yes, it means, yes, means. So I don't know what to say. Count, no. So count means counting cells containing numbers. Now, what do Excel mean by that? Is that, so Excel counts how many numeric entries exist in this total sales. It means that, oh, they gave you a report, then they gave you a data set, and they're telling that, oh, this is 600 rows, so, and this 600 rows has total sales, which means that this 600 rows, everything should be in number, should be in the total sale, like giving a value, like a number, numeric number. But if you are not sure, so what of if we are not sure? So now I'm going to do this first. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to put Mercy. Let's put my name there. So that's what I've included here. So now I want to count. Remember, they told us that we have over 600 rows here. They told us that this is over 600 rows. So we want to count if these numbers, like all these rows, or all these columns, no, rows, all these rows include numeric values, numeric entries. We want to know. So we're going to use the count formula, which is equals to count. You can see, so it said it counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. So I'm going to highlight it now, then close my bracket, then press enter. It's showing us 599, but we know it's 600 that is here. So why is it 599? So that is how you can know if there's an error. This is also part of data cleaning also. So that's how you can know if there's an error in this. Now if I do the same thing, equals to count, like if I do the same thing for customer type, I should be receiving something like 0. Yes, 0. Why? Because this does not have any number. This does not have any number. So count, like I said, count only works when you want to count the rows that has numbers, that has numeric entries. nothing like text, no. So it only works when you have, let me go back, let me, yes, okay, so it only works when you have numeric entries. So we have count A also. I've mentioned counts. So we have count A. So count A, this counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. This counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So now, okay, before I, let me remove, I want to remove something. So, so let's say this place is deleted. Let's say this is deleted. Yeah. So, and your client comes to meet you, or your supervisor comes to meet you, and they tell you that, oh, let me click on count A, and they tell you that, oh, they want you to count the number, they want you to count what do I call it now, they want you to count the number of cells that are not empty. Yes, they want you to count the number of cells that are not empty. The best thing you will just do is to come here. Let's pick, we will just pick one like this, highlight it, then close it. So the number of cells that are not empty is 599. The moment you go and tell your supervisor that, oh sir, the number of cells that are not empty is 599, then the man will be like, they are not empty. It means there's an extra one that is empty, which is not supposed to be, because they already have a record that it is 600 that is supposed to be there. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say actually. So that's the difference between count and count A. Do you understand? Let me go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So another one is blank. So okay, let me go back. Okay, I think I've even gone back. Okay. So another one is count blank. Now this one is now going to count the number of cells that is empty. Count A count the number of cells that are not empty, while count blank count the number of cells that are empty. So we're going to practice that also, which is, I wanted us to do this before we start entering into the analysis part. So which is, I've cancelled that. So equals to count blank. We want to know the number of cells that are empty. Then I'm going to highlight it, then close my bracket, then press enter. You can see it's just one. Sorry that this thing is showing you dollar sign. I think I highlighted this column to be showing dollar sign, but it's not supposed to show dollar sign actually. Yeah. So yeah, so this is it. One, just one cell is empty. Yes, so that's just for count. I mentioned count, count A and count blank. So if you will ask, why is counting important in business? Well, it is very, very important too. So counting is important in business because the owners, or let me say the business owners, need to know how many customers do they have. Like now you can count your transaction ID to know the number of customers you have that patronized you. You can count it. You can count the number of staff also that you have. Do you understand? So this is the main reason why counting is very important. So this is the main reason why counting is very important in an organization. So the next one is mean and max. So mean means minimum, max is maximum. So mean finds, it's just like normal mathematics. Mean finds the smallest value, just like you saying equals to mean. You can see it returns the smallest number in a set of values. Then if you pick that mean, you highlight the total set and say, I want to see the minimum amount that was made. So maybe your supervisor came to my meeting that, oh, they want to find out the minimum amount that made, that they made, meaning they want to find out the minimum sales that was acquired. So this is the mean. Mean means minimum. Then press enter. So which is 68,908. It means someone got a product of 68,908. That is just the minimum amount. So every other amount that every other sale that was made is higher than 68,908. So this is the minimum. Now to get the maximum equals to max. So sorry, so for the minimum, Excel searches through all rows. So all the rows, Excel will go to check it and return the smallest sales value. So companies use minimum, like use the main function, the main formula, to identify the lowest sales, which is what I did now, to identify the lowest expenses, to identify the weakest performance. So the next one is max, which is the maximum. It finds the highest value. So the same thing, Excel searches all rows and returns the highest sales value. So max is like this, then highlight it, pick it, then highlight your total sales, close your bracket, then press enter. So this means that the highest sales that was made was 7,207,000. That's the highest. Wow. So if I click on this filter, if you look at this total sales, this drop down that is here, if I click on that's filter. So if I click on it, if I scroll down, you can see now the first thing that's showing here is 68,908. It means this is the minimum, this is the smallest, because this is always going to be arranged from smallest to the largest. You understand the hair? So if I now scroll down, I will see that this is the highest, 7,207,000. So you can easily use this also to get your minimum and your maximum, but preferably just use the formula mean and max. So company use the max to identify the top performing products, to identify the top branches, to identify the top performing staff also. So they use it to identify the top performing product, the top performing oh my god, are you for real?
Ma, sorry, please come again about the filter you explained initially. My network is hanged.
Okay. Okay. So I said for the filter, oh my god. So for the filter, I said if you click on this filter, this drop down beside this total sales, if you click on it, then if you look up here, the first one you are seeing is 68,908. So it is showing you the smallest, which is the minimum already. If you scroll down, it is showing you the highest. So this is arranged in a way whereby it is from the smallest to the highest. You're going to see it. So you can also use this if your supervisor asks you that, okay, can you get the minimum sales, can you get the highest sales? So you can also use this by clicking on your filter and checking the first one that you're going to see is the smallest, which is 68, is the smallest. The last one you are seeing is the highest. You can also use this, but preferably just use formula instead of going through this process of saying you want to check the filter. Just use formula, like saying equals to mean means minimum, like I said, mean, then double click on that, then highlight your total sales, close your bracket, and press enter. So this is it, 68,908. If you put a dollar sign there, you're going to see the amount very well. The same thing with maximum, max. If you double click on it and you highlight your total sales, close your bracket, enter. 7 million. If you had your dollar sign, 7 million, that's for minimum and maximum. So that's basically about the basic formulas. Yes, so that's about the basic formulas that you need to know. So now I'm going to give you a short class practical that you're going to do right now. Delete. So I'm going to write the question here so that I'm going to write the question here. find the total unit price. Find the total unit price. Find the average unit sold. Count total sales record. Find the lowest unit price. Find the highest total sales. Okay. Okay, so this is it. So this is the work you're going to do right now. Okay, so this is your question. So I want you to, yeah, this is it. So I want you to answer this and give me the answer. Find the total unit price. Is Mary back on this call?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, um, find the total unit price. Mr. Michael, you'll be able to explain to her as you are working on this one right now. You'll be explaining to her. I think she was not on this call when I was explaining some things. So within, this is 8:44, by 8:50, which is even too much, but by 8:50 you should be done. Five minutes left. Four minutes left.
Ma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Hello?
Can,
Yes, I can hear you now.
okay. So the average unit sold is, sorry, the average unit sold is 7.835.
So to get the average is
Then
equals
the
to,
minimum,
sorry. So to get the average is equals to average. So that's for
Yeah.
units
Then
sold.
unit sold. I highlighted the unit sold. Yeah. Then close bracket.
7, this is it, right?
Yes.
Is this what you're getting?
Yes, 7.835. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one.
So I did for the minimum total sales.
So which is equals to mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, okay. The minimum
Total sales. That's the
total sales.
lowest.
Total sales or unit price. I said find the lowest unit price, not total sales.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me correct that. So it's going to be minimum and light unit price.
Yeah.
Close bracket. So it's 51358.
That's correct. Did you add your dollar sign?
Yes. Then the minimum unit sold.
Minimum unit sold.
Yes.
Did I ask that?
That's the lowest unit sold.
Okay, actually did not ask for that, but okay.
You say find the lowest unit sold.
Okay, no. Okay, now let me read my questions again. So I said find the total unit price, number 1. Number 2, find the average unit sold. Number 3, count total sales record. Number 4, find the lowest unit price. Then number 5, find the highest total sales. That was all.
So the lowest unit price, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, the lowest unit price is what?
Okay, I did. Okay, let me do is equal to mean unit price. Is we've done that now. It's
358.
51358.
We've done that. So the next one, which is find the highest total sales. Have you done that?
Find the highest. Yes, I'm on it. The total sales, right?
Yes, the highest total sales.
Yeah, is 720, 705.
Okay, that's correct. That's 7 million.
Then
Okay.
yeah, 207,005.
Yeah. It should make 2 more
Then
questions.
the total unit price, which is the first question, is 164,203,242.
I'm coming. 16420. Okay, that's correct. 164,203,242 naira.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, so the third one. Count
So the
total
third one
sales
is
record.
okay, count total sales record. Okay, I think that's the one I've not done. So, total sales record is 600.
Perfect. Yes, so that is how to work around basic formulas. Yeah. So we'll be moving to the next thing. Let me check. Okay, so we still have 30 minutes more. Okay, so the next thing is cell references. Now I was talking about cell references. So I've explained this before, but I did not really explain it deep like this. So cell references. Now cell references tell Excel where to get values from. So we have two major types of cell references. We have the relative references and we have the absolute references. So the relative references change automatically when copied. I'm just trying to explain like that issue that we had in our um in one of our data set that we worked on, when you guys tried to copy it and what's going on? Sorry, please give me a minute. What's going on? Okay. So like that data set that we did, that when you guys tried to copy it, it was giving you a particular error. I don't know if you remember. It was giving you a particular error of not everything was giving the right value. So when I was trying to explain that we had a dollar sign and things like that, so this is what I mean. A relative reference change automatically when it is copied. So the fact that, let me show you this. We are going to calculate our unit sold and our unit price. We know we are going to get this actually. Yes, we're going to get this. So I'm going to do it here. So which is, okay, I'm going to do it here, equals to unit sold times unit price, then times unit price. I press enter. Then if I press it downward, okay, can't be press it downward. So this is actually correct. This is looking correct actually, but there are some times that you will put this kind of, you will do this kind of thing, and Excel is going to give you error. So error in the sense that because of the formula that I used there was I2, which is unit sold times J2. The moment you try to autofill it, it will not be giving you it will be giving you, instead of moving to I3 and J3, it won't move like that though. It will not be giving you I2 to I3, to J3, which is not supposed to be so. That was what happened in our data. I don't know if you remember that data set that we worked on specifically, where we were having issue. I think when we were trying to times the try to remember this thing. And they were trying to give them compensation that if you get above 10,000, they will give you commission. Yes, commission. So
Okay, yes,
yes,
ma. That was our first class.
yes, our first class, exactly. So that's commission. The same thing that happened in that particular column where everybody was like, oh, this thing is not correct, when we auto filled it. That is what we call relative references, because relative references change, they change automatically when you try to copy it, but absolute references, they stay fixed. So even if you copy it, they don't change. So absolute references is that dollar sign that I asked you guys to include at that point. So the dollar sign, just like you adding a dollar sign, let me add it here, before and after. So now this first dollar sign is going to lock the column. The column is I, which is column I here. Going to lock it. Then the second dollar sign is locking the row. So the dollar sign locks the row and the column. With this, even if you try to autofill it, it will stay fixed. They won't move from I2 times J3. No, they won't move like that, because it is called absolute reference. It is fixed like that. But for relative references, just like what we faced in our commission, relative references, if you copy it, once you're done with your calculation, you copy it, like you say you want to autofill it, I said most of the time, not all the time. Most of the time, like you see this one, and this one did not change. This one that we did here did not change. But most of the time, if you try to use some formulas and you did not add the dollar sign, you might have issue. So most people always prefer to stay on a safer side by always adding a dollar sign, so that it will stay fixed. Excel will not go and change it. Do you understand? So that's the difference between that what we call cell references, which is the absolute references and the relative references. The relative references do not stay fixed. Whenever you try to copy it, they change automatically. While the absolute references, with the dollar sign, it stays fixed. It does not move from I2 to um I3 or something like that. It does not move like that, so it stays fixed. So that is the difference between relative references and absolute references. Please, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on, that like that thing I talked about right now, we're going to do that. So I'm going to add let me start a new column here. Okay, so I'm going to add a tax rate. We're going to assume that we have a tax rate. Okay, tax rate, and the tax rate is 10%. So we're going to assume that the tax rate is 10% like this. Now we want to do tax calculation. So we want to add this 10% to total sales. So it's going to be like this, equals to this total sales, this first one, times our tax rate. Then you press enter. So you can see it's giving us 0 0 0 0, like it's giving us 0 0 here. Why is it like that? Okay, okay, let me change this. Sorry. So equals to, I want you to see what I'm doing very well. So equals to K2. Now K2 is what? K2 is what? Like this K2 that I'm doing is what? I'm waiting for your response. K2, this.
K2 is total sales.
Okay. So that's correct. Total sales. So we are calculating the first row, which is K2 times N2. N2 is our tax rate, which is this 10%.
Our 10%.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you press enter. Now you can see it is giving us 0 0 0 0 0. Why? Because if you look at this first one, I did, it's giving us the K2. If you look at where my arrow is, it's giving us the K2 times N2. But when you move to the next one, it's giving us K3 times N3. And in our N3, we don't have anything here. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
So with
Yes,
this
ma'am.
one, that's why the absolute reference is needed. So we need our absolute reference to be fixed.
To be on N.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
to be fixed on the N.
On the N.
N2.
So we're going to put our dollar sign there and dollar sign, because we don't want it to change. Then you press your enter. Can you see that? So now you know that you can easily notice that there is something wrong with this formula, because it was giving you 0 0 0. But like that one that we did the first time, the commission, you guys did not even know that there was an error, because
Yes.
in your mind it has given you the amount, it has given you something related to amount, so you don't know. So in a case whereby you don't want to make a mistake, just use dollar sign. Don't stress yourself, just use dollar sign, because you might not know. Like if not of this one is very very obvious that it's giving us 0 0 0, and I'm like, oh, something is wrong. But in a case whereby it is giving us value, but we don't know that that value is wrong, so on, to be on the safer side, always use the dollar sign, so that whatever thing you are calculating will be fixed. Yeah. Okay, so that explains the absolute reference and what did I call it again? I'm going to delete this. Absolute reference and relative. Delete. Okay, so the next thing we'll be doing is sorting data. Hey, I think this class is supposed to end soon. Okay, it's going to end soon. Okay, so we can leave this. We can leave this call. Then I'm going to send you a link right now for another call. Okay, I'm actually waiting for Mr. Michael. Miss Mary.
Yeah, he will join now, ma.
Okay. Okay,
She
cool.
said he's requesting to join, ma.
Ah, I can't say anything here. Oh. I can't say anything here. Okay, so um, hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma, I can hear you, ma.
Okay, sorry
I think
about
it was the network.
maybe. Okay, so um, okay, what was I even saying, Seth? Okay, so I said I'll be talking about sorting data. So sorting data in the sense that so sorting, let me put that way. Sorting organizes data in a meaningful order. Sorting organizes data in a meaningful order. So this data set that you're seeing right now, we can easily arrange it without using formula actually. We can easily arrange it to sort it out, which is we want to see from the largest to the smallest. Do you understand? So we can easily go to, let's go to data tab, which is this one right here. Data tab. Then let's click on sort. This is sort right here. Just follow along with me, sorry. So this is sort right here. So click on sort. Select, okay, sorry. you have to click on a data set, actually not an empty cell, a data cell. Then sort. You can see I've clicked on sort. So now I'm going to choose, like, now looking at this, they are saying that what do you want to sort by, like, meaning what should Excel look at for you to sort it. So I want to sort the total sales column. So sort by total sales. This is total sales here, that's the column. Then is the value, it's just the, sorry, it's just the value we want to work on first. So we want to sort it by the value. We want to see it from the largest to the smallest. Then click on OK. So it has been rearranged. Even the transaction ID has been changed also. So everything has been rearranged in the sense that the total sales is giving us from the highest to, if you look at it, it's giving us from the highest to the smallest. If you go down, let me go down, you see that this is the smallest, 68. So we've sorted it out by giving us the highest. So the highest sales appear at the top because of the way we sort it out. So now if you will ask, why would businesses sort sales data? So they sort out sales data because they want to identify the top sales. They also want to identify the best branch, because now we've sorted it out by identifying the top sales, right? We can see the top sales right now. So we've sorted out by identifying the top sales. Go to Ctrl Z, we've gone back. So I want to sort it by identifying the best branch. We want to know the best branch. So I'm going to click on sort. Now sort by, I want to sort by the branch. But if you're sorting by the branch, what is Excel relying on? So I want to know which branch actually made the best sales. So we're still using the values. The Excel should use the values. Then A to Z is like the highest to the lowest also. So click on yes, press OK. So looking at okay, sorry, Ctrl Z, sort. So sorry, with this total sales, then value, largest to smallest, yes, 7 million. With this total sales, you can also see the best branch actually. This is the branch which is Kano. That Kano made the highest sales, and with this they can also track performance. Also, Ctrl Z, if you feel like, or if your supervisor said, oh, I don't think this thing is arranged in the alphabetical order, I want to see the branch in alphabetical order, you just have to click on sort, then click on the branch or anyone there, whether branch or gender, but I think it's branch which we're going to use. So we're going to use branch. So we want to see it from A to Z, so meaning we want to see it in alphabetical order. So click on OK. So with this, we can see the branch in alphabetical order, starting from Abuja, A, then I, which is Ibadan. So that's how to sort, just like the name implies, sort. So it is very important for you to know that you have to select a particular cell in the data set before sorting. If you sort out only one column, your data becomes damaged, in the sense that, the moment I click on a particular cell in, let me go back. Okay, so the moment I click on a particular cell in this data set and I clicked on sort, you can see that it highlighted everything instantly. But if you go there and you highlight only one column and you are clicking on sort, in fact it will never allow you, because it is important for you to always highlight all the columns. So even if you click on a particular cell and you click on sort, it will highlight all the data sets, because it's everything Excel is going to work on. So that's for that. Okay, yeah, so that's for that. The next thing I will show you is coming home is conditional formatting. So I'm going to show you conditional formatting. Now, I'm showing you different methods in which you can get highest sales. I've shown you the one that you can use formula to get the highest sales. I've showed you another one that you can sort it to get highest sales or lowest sales. Now, I'm going to show you another method which involve colors. Now, this is conditional formatting. If you look up in your home tab, this is conditional formatting. Now, if you look at everything here, it's as if you are setting a rule. Now, aligned cells rule. Now, if you want to see the cells that are greater than 4 million, so if you want to see the cells in this total sales that are greater than 4 million, you will just come here, highlight this total sales, click on conditional formatting, then you will see highlight cells rule. The first one is greater than, so click on it. We're not telling Excel that format cells that are greater than, let me use 4 million. Can you see it? Format cells that are greater than 4 million. Excel is now asking us that how should it format it, with which color. You can pick any of this color that is here. Oh, I want you to format it with a yellow fill and a dark yellow text, something like this. Yes, so any cell that has above 4 million, Excel is going to give you this. It's going to click on OK. Now this is it. Now this is above 4 million. You can see it. This is above 4 million. 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 So every cell that is above 4 million. Now you might be asking that, oh, if your boss wants to see the cells that are above 4 million, now you've done the first stage, which is you setting a condition, that is conditional formatting. You've done the first stage of adding colors to know which one is above 4 million. But your boss cannot come and be scrolling down to go and check. No, it can't be doing that. So another thing you're going to do, which is the second thing what I showed you, is go to your data, click on sort. Now I'm sorting it by my total sales, and this amount I'm not sorting by value. I am sorting by the cell color, because that thing has a color. So we're sorting by cell color, and the color that we are looking at is this color, this yellow. It should be on top. We want to see it on top, so click on OK. Can you see it? So the first thing I did was that I wanted my boss to see the sales that are above 4 million, and I identified it by adding color to differentiate it from other amounts. You can see, to see the difference between this and other amounts. Jesus. And I also, not just that, I did not stop there. Instead of my boss scrolling down, we have over 600 rows. So instead of my boss scrolling down to be looking for the cells that are being colored, because we already told that, sir, any cell that is colored, that cell has above 4 million. So you cannot be scrolling down and say, let me be looking for the 4 million or the cell that is colored. You can't be doing that. So the second thing you're going to do, you have to sort it out. I've shown you the first one. You can sort by the value. The second one is this. You can also sort by the cell color. So you can ask me a question now.
It's not a question. I would just love if you can repeat the cell color highlighting again.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So now, the first thing, our supervisor came to meet us and he said, we have a lot of sales, and I heard that our highest sales is 7 million. Okay, so I want to see, let me put it that way. So I want you to help me bring out the sales that are above 3 million. So the first thing you want to do, come to your home tab, highlight your total sales, like highlight that column that you want to work on, highlight it, go to your home tab, click on conditional formatting. So if you look at the conditional formatting, this easily spot trends and patterns in your data. using colors and icon. So it is like a visual that immediately your supervisor just open it, is going to see it instantly that, oh, I think for them to color this, there is something here. So you will always see that, oh, this is greater than 3 million or 4 million. So click on conditional formatting. We have a lot of rules under conditional formatting, but the first one we're looking at is greater than. So allied cells rules, which is greater than. So now this is the dialogue that came out. They are saying that format cells that are greater than. So now I want to tell Excel that format cells that are greater than 3 million, any cell that is greater than 3 million, I want you to format it with what? Excel is asking you that with what? How do you want to identify it? Now I'm going to tell you that I want to identify it with any of this color. You can even put a custom format if you want. Save. You can put a custom format if you want. If you don't want, you can just, sorry, my system is still loading. So if you can put a custom format by just coming here, look for the kind of color that you want. Let me pick red color. Then the font. Okay, so the font, I want the font, since it's red color, I want the font to be white. So now I picked a custom, which is the fill. Red, the cell should be red, the cell should be red, while the font, the color should be white. Then I press OK. So that's custom format. So I told the Excel that please format cells that are greater than 3000 with what? With a red background and a white text. Then I press OK. So anywhere you see your red background, it means this amount is greater than 4 million, than 3 million. Can see, in fact, this is even very, very obvious. Once your client, your supervisor is scrolling, you will see it over that, oh, this is 5 million. You know, it is one thing for you to start scrolling one by one and be looking. Numbers can really confuse your eyes. So if the numbers are always together, it can really confuse your eyes. But with this, you've highlighted it that, oh, these ones are above 3 million. Your client, your supervisor can never make a mistake. What it will be focused on is the red cell, the red color, I mean. So anyway, you see the red color, you already know that, oh, this is above 3 million. Is that taken now? If I go to the next one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now because of it's over 600 rows, what if you have 10,000 rows? You don't want your supervisor to be scrolling down and scrolling down and scrolling down to be looking for all. No, you don't want that to happen. So to make it easy for him, you're going to click on that the same cell, go to your data tab, click on sort, then they're going to ask you sort by. Oh, I want to sort the total sales on what are you sorting it on? Now I want to sort it on cell color, which is our red color. That is a cell color, so I want to sort it on cell color. Now which order? You have to put the color, a red color. Is it going to be on top or bottom? Meaning those cell that has red background, do you want it to be on top or do you want it to be at the bottom, which are the last place? Normally we don't want it to be at the bottom, so it will be on top. So you click on top, then press OK. And I've not really been hearing your voice today.
Yes, ma'am.
That yes is not yes at all. That yes is not even it's not yes at all. Do you understand? Like from your heart, do you understand?
Ma, go on.
Girl, I will go on. You've never disappointed me with your tax before, so I know that this one too you will not disappoint me by the time I drop a tax for you to do. Okay. So that's for sorting and conditional formatting. Also, even in that conditional formatting, you can also see looking for something. Now I'm going to align this total sales. Our clients, sorry, I don't know why I keep on saying clients, when it's not virtual assistant. Our supervisor want to see the top our supervisor want to see the 10 highest sales that was made. Our client want our supervisor want to see the 10 highest sales that was made. So if you click on this, if you align that 10 total sales, click on your conditional formatting, go to your top or bottom rows. You want to see the top 10 items, so click on it. Now format cells that rank in the top. Now this one is asking that is it 10 top you want to see, or how many? You can increase it if you want, but I'll be making use of 10. I want to see the highest 10, and Excel should give it to me in a red. Okay, let me use yellow. Okay, let me use yellow. So Excel should give it to me in yellow fill. So I want to see the top 10, the top highest, the 10 highest sales. I press OK. So instead of you scrolling down to go and look for the 10 highest, you can see that I have to scroll down to see the 10 highest sales. I shouldn't be doing that. Then I'll go to my data tab again, click on sort by total sales. On what? On your set color. Then what's the color? Yellow. This is the yellow. Then what is it on top? Then you press OK. So this is the top 10. If you count it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So these are the top highest sales that was made. This people have money. 6 million, 7 million. So this are not even naira or dollar. God. So these are the top 10 highest sales that was made. So with this, all these things are going to make use of it in your analysis. So I'm showing it to you now. So with this, they can easily know that, oh, this is how it is. Now another thing, okay, I think this is the second to the last thing. Okay, so the second to the last thing is filters. I'm not really supposed to say anything about this because we already have filters in our data set. But in a case whereby you don't have filters in your data set, like now, I'm going to remove our filter. Text column. Okay. Text column. What's this? Okay, sorry. Okay, so I want to convert my table back to a normal range. So convert to range. So immediately I'm not seeing my filters, those small arrows that you're seeing at your header. I'm not seeing it again. So in a case whereby this is how the data set is being given to you, instead of you saying, oh, I want to turn it into a table, but it's always important for you to turn it into a table actually, but instead of you saying you want to turn it into a table, you can always add filter, because filter is very, very important. So filter allows data analysts to focus on specific information. And I'm sure since the beginning of our class we'll be using filters, so I'm sure by now you already know the meaning of filter. So just like now, we're going to go to, you can see we don't have filter here, so I'm going to go to my header, click on this. Let me highlight all my, okay, I've highlighted all my header. Then I'm going to go to my data. This is my data tab. Then this is filter. I'll click on filter. You can see the filter has appeared back again. So anytime you're working on a data set and you feel like, oh, your filters are not here, do not panic. Just highlight the headers, highlight it, then go to your data tab, which is this one, right? Data tab. Then click on filter. Then it will definitely appear. So that is how it is for filter. Then sorry. Oh my god. So the last one we'll be talking about this night is pivot tables. So this is, like, I purposely included this here because this is like an introduction to our main analysis that we want to start doing, because we are done cleaning, we are done analyzing, we are done understanding our data sets, we are done cleaning the data already. So we are about entering to the phase of, oh, we want to create dashboard, or we want to create reports and things like that. So we're already entering into that phase now. So the first thing I'm going to explain to you is pivot tables. Now, before you can create a dashboard on Excel, you need to have pivot tables. Now, what do pivot tables mean? Now, pivot tables, they are actually one of the most important, they're actually one of the most powerful tools in Excel. Pivot tables. Without pivot tables, you can't create your dashboard. You can't. So, pivot tables, they summarize thousands of rows in seconds. Now those things I was showing you, that's to get the sum. Like I was like, you want to get the sum, you want to get average, you can do it instantly. Actually, with pivot tables, instantly you can get the amount instantly with pivot tables. So okay, now let's do this. Just follow along. So I want to get my pivot table first. So the first thing I'm going to do is to highlight everything, like my data. Let me delete this, so I don't want any issue. So let me delete this one. Okay. Okay, so yes. So I'm going to delete. Okay, I'm going to highlight. I'm going to highlight all my data set. This is my data set now. I've highlighted it. Now I need to create a pivot table. My client just came to meet me. Oh, I want you to get the average of the total sales. I want you to get the minimum. Those things that we did earlier today, like in the beginning of the class. It's about to go off. Sorry, give me a minute. Let me charge my phone. Okay, yeah, back. So okay. So now, like I said, we want to get those things that we did in the, like when we started the class, the sum, the the sum, the max, the mean, the average, and count that we did. We can easily get that with pivot table. So I've highlighted everything. Now I'm going to go to insert. I'll click on insert, the insert tab, click on it. Then the first thing you're going to see there is the pivot table. So look at it. The pivot table easily arrange and summarize complex data in a pivot table. So I'm going to click on it. You're going to see a dialog. Now the first thing you're seeing there is that choose the data that you want to analyze. Now select a table. This is asking for the table range, which is what I've done by highlighting it. You can see that it's giving the sign that, oh, this is your table range, this green thing that is moving around. So I've highlighted it already. So that's our table. Then choose where you want your pivot table report to be placed. Now I want to be in a new worksheet. Is here already, so I'll click on OK. So this is a new worksheet. You can see sheet 1. This is a new worksheet, and beside it here you can see our pivot table fields, which is this one right here. You can see our pivot table fields. Now, like I said, we want to get the okay, so we want to get the total sales, like total sales. I'm going to click on total sales here. I'll just click on it like this, total sales. Now this instantly gave us the sum. Yes, the sum of total sales that we're using formula for. This gave us the sum of total sales instantly. And I will still take it again. I will still drag it, like I'm dragging it now. I'm dropping it here. I'm dragging it again, and I'm dropping it here. That's 3. I'm dragging it again. I think we need 5. Okay, so I'm dropping it here. That's 4. Then I'm dragging it again, and I'm dropping it in that place, in that value. If you look down, this is value. like this place right here, value. So that's 5. Okay, so the first one we are working on is sum of total sales. If you click on this black arrow right here, you will click on value field settings. Now with this you can check whether it is sum, whether it is count, whether it is average, whether it is max, but we want the sum. So I can also change the name, that's sum of total sales. Then I'll click on OK. Okay, they said the field name already exists actually. Total, let me put like this, total sum of sales. Total sum of sales. Now press OK. If you look at my pivot table, you can see it here, total sum of sales. Now the second one, I want to click on the second one. Click on the arrow, value field. Then I think the next one was average, right? Yes. So I want the second one to be average. Click on average. So average sales. I'm going to put average sales. You can see I've changed it here from sum to average. Then I'll click on OK. So now it is giving us the average of sales that we made in 2024. You can also highlight this. Sorry. So I want to highlight this, like highlight it, then go to your home tab, give it your $sign as usual, then reduce the decimal. So now you can see that this is our total sum of sales, this is our average of sales. Now the next one we're going to do is the count, the mean, and the max. So do it yourself and tell me your answer. The same way I showed you how to do the total sales.
Ma, sorry,
Okay.
my system went off now.
Oh.
I'm following what you're doing. We will practice later.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, so the second one is average of sales. The third one is count. That's what we did. So if you scroll down in this our values right here, if you go down after average of sales, the next one you click on it, value field settings. So the next one is count. You click on count and you say count of total sales. Then you now click on OK. Now because of its count, our $sign is also supposed to be there because it's just count, so it's supposed to be general, no $sign should be there. So 600. So we have to show that we have over 600 rows there. So the next one is mean. We're going to click on the next one, just go down, this black arrow that is right here, click on it, then value field settings, mean, right? Yes, mean. So click on your mean, that's minimum sales, then you click on OK. So with this you can see we've gotten our minimum sales already. Now the last one is maximum. So click on the last one, maximum, which is max. You can always change the title, maximum sales, then click on OK. So now this is showing us we have our total sum of sales, we have our average sales, and if you look at it very well, it's the same thing with what we calculated with our formula. We have our average of sales, we have our total sales, that is our count of total sales, we have our minimum sales, and we have our maximum sales. Now I'm sure you will say, oh, I prefer using the formula than coming to my use this pivot table. Now this pivot table is necessary because most of the time some supervisors don't understand table. They prefer charts, like C-H-A-R-T. They prefer seeing charts. Now we're going to turn this into a chart. I'm going to click on insert. Just follow along. I know you know with your system again, but just follow along. We're going to click on insert, then click on recommended charts, and I'm going to be using should I use bar. Let me use column, Abi. Okay, let me use column. This is a column chart. Yes, this is a column chart. So I'll click on OK. Click on OK. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove all this total sum that you're seeing up here, which is hide all fields button on chart. I've removed it. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this plus sign, and click on data labels. Click on data labels, which that data labels means that for every column I want to see the amount. I've clicked on it like that. So I'm going to spread this so that the amount can show. Now with the color, this is the blue color, which shows, that's why this field is here. Anywhere you see this blue color, you come and check what does the blue color mean. It means the total sum of sales. The second one is a red color. What is for red color? Average of sales. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but I know that just
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
that's for the red one. The next one is deep yellow. It is the count of sales, which means, oh, if your client, if your supervisor sees it, they'll be like, okay, so this is the total sales that we made, and it is 1 billion. Then this is the average of sales, because of you've given them the description of what those colors mean. You can also do it like this, plus. I've clicked on that plus, and I'm clicking on this arrow right here beside the data label. I'm clicking on it, and I'm clicking on more options. So more options. This is the more options. Now this option is stating that, do you want to show the category name? Let me close this one. It's closed. So do you want to show the category name in this place where your data label is? You can mark it here that show the category name. So with this, they will show the category name, but we don't need it. You can always remove it. This show leader lines. This leader lines is not really important, but you can always remove it. Then, sorry, scroll down. Now this is outside end, like your position of where your label is. This is outside end, so, and that's where it is right now. If it is inside end you want, it will be inside. If it is center you want, it's going to be center, but we prefer outside end so that it will be visible for you very well. I think that's basically all. Okay, so number, let me click on number also. So this is if your amount is not having currency, you can always come here and put your currency also. So I will stop here. So this is basically what we'll do in our next class. We are done with the understanding of data sets. So we're entering into the practical aspect of where we are going to be creating reports for our supervisor for everything that they ask for. With this thing that I've done, I'm going to let me make it bold. So I'm going to click on this. The color is not giving this black color. Then the text should be black. Okay, yeah, so it's bright like this now. So with this, your client or your supervisor already knows that, okay, this blue color is the total sum of sales that she calculated. Oh, this red color that is right here stands for the average of sales, and this stands for the count of sales. So with this, if you even send this one, if you send just this picture to your supervisor, then it's fine, it's good to go. So I think we're going to stop for now. And if I ask you that, do you have any question, you tell me no, that you understand. But it's also when you start practicing it, we don't know whether you understand or not. So we're going to end the class now. If you have any question, you can ask me. You can ask me now.
No question for now. No, it's beginning to sound more interesting.
Definitely, because definitely pivot table is always the most interesting part actually, because that's where the whole thing happens. The whole thing that, oh, I want to go and make a report to the shareholders, I want to go and do presentation. This is the behind the scene of the presentation you want to go and do. to the shareholders. So it's getting more interesting. Mary, any other question? Okay,
No, ma.
okay, okay. So I think we're going to end the class now, and we'll be meeting on Saturday. Yes. God, I hope I'll be available, but I think I'll be available on Saturday. So we'll be meeting on Saturday. And like I said in our last class, I won't be available for class next week. So our class will be moved. After this Saturday, which is our last class, we'll meet again in the next 2 weeks. But I'm going to give you a project that is going to help you people and practice more during that 1 week. So have a good night rest and see you in our next class. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. Good night.